Hey, what is up, guys? Oblivious here, and today I'm going to be doing a walkthrough of like my predictions for the NBA playoffs that's upcoming. I was going to make a video a few days ago where I actually kind of tried to kind of like I did last year, where I tried to actually map out who would win where and stuff like that, and what seeds were already locked, so I could basically start doing it a little bit earlier. But I just decided to do it the day before the actual play-in tournament starts tomorrow, Tuesday. Well, it's actually today, the 11th. It's actually past midnight, just by 7 minutes here. But yeah, I'm gonna just walk through like I did last year, and I have the pictures. So I'll just start now with the Western Conference because I already got it up. So in the first round, the play-in tournament, it's gonna be New Orleans Pelicans versus OKC Thunder, and that's right over here. Let me bring up my little stats for it. Okay, so that's the 9 versus the 10 game. Um, OKC is 16 and 25 away. So this is obviously a one-game play-in, so they're going to play an away game. They're the lowest seed in the NBA playoffs. They did make it good for them, but I think this is kind of be for me where the road kind of ends. It's kind of just the whole team is just Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and Josh Giddey's pretty good, and Lou Dort. They have other like kind of solid building blocks and stuff like that for the future. But right now it's only like Shai that can actually compete in we're actually in the NBA playoffs now, where most of the teams are above average, so it's not any more shit games where you can just win. And yeah, the Pelicans, they're 27 and 14 at home. Zion is not going to be playing in the play-in. I think they said maybe he can play later in the playoffs, but he's not going to be ready for this game, this play-in game, which obviously sucks. I think the Pelicans would have been a lot better this season if Zion, McCollum, and Ingram kind of all played throughout the whole season. I think McCollum was the only one who really played most of the season. Yeah, so I actually just think the dual carry threat of CJ McCollum and Brandon Ingram are actually going to just. I think the OKC. I could see OKC winning this game, but I don't really think so. I'm just going to take the favorite here and just take the Pelicans. And then we have this 7-8 game, which is the Timberwolves versus the Lakers. The Timberwolves are 20 and 21 away. They're down here. They have Edwards, obviously they have Towns, they have Gobert, things like that. The team just doesn't really mesh well. I remember there was videos of certain players on the Timberwolves saying oh, the problem with our team or whatever after tough losses, and I guess that's inferencing that Karl Anthony Towns is a problem or something like that, because Edwards is obviously, everyone seems to like Anthony Edwards. He seems pretty good. He is kind of, maybe there's two ball hogs in the team, and then it's not really like a team game they're really playing. I'm not really sure. And then the Lakers, yeah, obviously they're the 7th seed. They're the highest seed that you can possibly be in the play-in tournament. The 7 seeds are. Obviously, we'll talk about the 7 seed in the East later. But yeah. The Lakers are 23 and 18 at home. AD's likely to play. They said, I just made sure now. And LeBron is playing. So I think these two, when they play, Lakers were kind of good for certain periods of the year when actually Anthony Davis realized he was good, and LeBron is still somehow very good at the age he's at. So I think the Lakers are just going to win this game, and by winning this game, this is like a 2-game elimination for the 7 and 8 game. So the 7 seed just moves on, and they just become the 7 seed in the actual bracket. And then the Minnesota Timberwolves, they'll have to play the winner of the 9-10 seed, which would be the Pelicans, which is my next series. So the Pelicans versus the Timberwolves. This will be at the Timberwolves, this one. So the Timberwolves are 22 and 19 at home. Pelicans are 15 and 26 away, which is a pretty bad away record. And like I said, I don't know if Zion will be. I doubt Zion will be ready for this game. So then it's the Timberwolves versus the Pelicans. I actually kind of want to go the Pelicans, but it's just the fact that it's home and away games. This away record is just not doing it for me, and at least the Timberwolves are positive at home. I feel like it's gonna be like last year. Remember the scene where who was it? Karl Anthony Towns and Patrick Beverley when the Timberwolves got in and they won the whatever to get into the actual playoffs, or I don't even remember. They won some playoff game and they were taking their shirts off and throwing them into the crowd and shit. It was wild. But yeah, I think the Timberwolves are just gonna do it somehow. I hate this team. They're gonna lose in the first round even to the Nuggets. But I have to have a winner here. The Pelicans Timberwolves game I'm probably not gonna watch, but I'll watch all the other games. Yeah. So and then yeah. So I can just start. Actually, I don't really have any more comments for these. So the first round of the actual playoffs then is going to be. I'll minimize this. I don't really need the stats anymore. Oh shit. Sorry. I'm just trying to grab this. Here you go. Okay. So, Denver playing in Minnesota. I think Denver wins. This is I'll probably bet. If the series line is -2.5 games, I'll probably bet it because I think this is going to be a 4-1 or a 4-0 for Denver. They are a good team. I actually do think they are overrated as a 1 seed especially, but but whatever, we'll get to that later. I'm also a Sixers fan, so I have a little bit of a bias against Nikola Jokic, but whatever, he's a good player. They're gonna 4-0 or 4-1 this. The Phoenix Suns versus the Clippers. This is the only thing I had for just because the Suns will get more home games. They're 28 and 13 at home, and they're actually all gonna be healthy. KD obviously just came back recently. Devin Booker's been playing. DeAndre Ayton's been playing. The Johnsons, they've been playing. So I think and then the Clippers 20 and 21 away. Obviously, this doesn't matter as much in a best of series because obviously both teams get home and away games, and I'm sure the Suns away record is bad and the Clippers home record is good. But I just think the super team is actually coming together now for the Phoenix Suns. They got the 4 seed, so I think, and Paul George, I don't believe, only Kawhi is playing, I believe, in this this playoff series. So it's just gonna be Kawhi Leonard versus the super team Suns. I'm gonna have the Suns winning on that one, easy. Golden State versus Sacramento. Sacramento obviously had a good season. They won their division or whatever with the Suns in it, and it was like their first, I don't even know, top 3 seed in forever. God knows how long, since they had like freaking DeMarcus Cousins or whatever. Probably they weren't even that good then. I don't even know. But yeah, good for them. They have some solid players. They're gonna be good in the future, obviously, if they can keep like Sabonis and De'Aaron Fox and people like that. But Golden State 6 seed. I'm not. This is just pure like I'm just going Golden State. Fuck it, because Golden State, they're just like the sleeping giant. You can never count them out, especially in the playoffs. So I'm definitely just gonna rock with the Warriors moving on. Then we have the Memphis versus the Lakers. I think Memphis is just a well more rounded team. Ja, obviously, depending on how you feel about him as a basketball player, it's good that the Memphis Grizzlies have him back. He is like probably their best player, I guess, and they also just have really good players all throughout their lineup. So I think Memphis is actually gonna win here. Like, Anthony Davis is gonna get hurt, or like LeBron's not gonna be able to carry hard enough, and they're probably just gonna get a first round exit here. I guess if you count I'm not gonna count the play-in for first round exits, but this is a first round exit. Grizzlies move on. Denver versus Phoenix. I'm gonna have Phoenix moving on. I think Denver is a fraud. I was kind of mentioning it earlier, and I think Phoenix with the super team, once they're actually all together and playing, I think they can move on here. Golden State versus Memphis. These series are gonna be freaking sick to watch. I mean, hopefully this Golden State Memphis one happens. Even if it's Sacramento Memphis or something like that, that would be pretty cool. But I think I think Golden State's this is gonna be a series. I actually have Golden State moving on. I might have them. This is like the one thing I kind of should have probably decided before I started this video, but this Phoenix Suns Golden State, if this series does happen in Western Conference Finals, just give me the Warriors. I'm gonna just say fucking give me the Warriors, because I don't know. Like, to me, basically the whole thing that this bracket has taught you is that the Warriors, to me, for some reason, I think they're actually like they are like a sleeping giant. So this is actually kind of fuckery. The 4 and the 6 seed are the teams that make it to the Western Conference Finals in my bracket. But now we can actually move on to the Eastern Conference Finals, or the Eastern Conference bracket. So we'll move on. We'll start right away with the 9 versus 10 game. So Chicago is going to be away to Toronto. I do have some stats for this. Toronto is 27-14 at home. Chicago is 18-23 away. Obviously, one game playing. This is for your life here. I do have the Toronto Raptors moving on here. They are a good team at home. Obviously, teams have to fly up to Canada, and it's all different and shit like that, just to to obviously play. I'm sure it's a long flight from, I guess maybe not from Chicago. It's probably not that bad. But yeah, I think the Raptors actually just have like a better, well-rounded team. Nick Nurse, I think, is a better coach. I don't even know who the coach of the Bulls is. I'm not gonna lie to you, but I think like Fred VanVleet and Pascal Siakam and the boys are just gonna get it done. I don't really know how it's gonna happen, but they are a good team at home, and I think they can actually win this game here and then just knock the Bulls right out of the playoffs in the first game. So 7 versus 8 game is Miami versus Atlanta. This one's easy for me. I'm picking Miami. I think Miami's actually a good team, as you can see possibly if you look ahead a little bit later in my my bracket. But yeah, I think Miami is actually very good, and just kind of has been like, kind of on and off for some reason for this year. But I think they're going to turn it on for the playoffs. But Atlanta's not knocked out with this one. I think that I do have some stats for this. Oh yeah, the Heat are 27-14 at home. The Atlanta is 17-24 away. It's basically Trae Young and a dysfunctional team, and then versus the Heat, who have Bam, Jimmy Butler, like fucking Duncan Robinson, Tyler Herro. Like, they can actually. Oh shit, I didn't mean to open that. But yeah. I think the Heat actually can be a good team, and they'll just move into the 7th seed by winning this game. And then we have Toronto versus Atlanta. Atlanta would be home for this game. I just have Toronto moving on. I thought I had some stats for this, but I actually don't. Yeah, I'm just gonna have Toronto moving on. I think they're just a better team. Once I said, like, I think the Hawks are just like, Trae Young's not, he's not as efficient as he does, but he still scores a lot of points and assists and stuff. But the team is kind of just dysfunctional. They don't really have a lot of other like excellent players, and I think Toronto just has more honestly good players. And then we can actually move on to the actual bracket. So yeah, Milwaukee versus Toronto in the first round. I'm just gonna have Milwaukee moving on. As you can see, I have Milwaukee moving on pretty far in this bracket. I don't like to look ahead, but it obviously is on the screen, and Milwaukee's going to win this series. Or even if it's against the Hawks or whoever the fuck, I think this is easy. Cleveland, the Knicks. This one is the tough one. There's some tough ones here. I think this might, like, Miami, if this actually happens, Boston and Miami, I think that's gonna be a fucking banger of a series. And this is already locked and guaranteed. This Knicks Cavaliers series. I actually really like the Knicks. I bet on them a bunch during the regular season, and I actually thought, like, you know, they started to show a lot of progress. They do have some actual, like, good players, and then, you know, obviously they signed Brunson, and they already have Randall, and they have fucking, they have like fucking 20 motherfuckers that I could probably name, but I don't feel like doing it right now. But yeah, I'm just gonna have Cleveland moving on. I think they just have a more star-studded roster. It's kind of just like Brunson and Randall in the Knicks. Obviously, they have some good role players and things like that. But you know, like Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland and Jared Allen and the boys. Like I think they can actually just pull it off. I think they actually just have a little bit more star power and just play better as a team. So I'm gonna have Cleveland, but this could go either way. The next thing is the Sixers and the Nets. I'm gonna have the Sixers moving on. This is fucking easy. I'm a Sixers fan. Plus I think the Nets just, they kind of got carried by, like, you know, a lot of these wins came from like KD and a whole different team than this current team is. Obviously, Michael Bridges and Spencer Dinwiddie are just absolutely carrying the Nets, but I think this is like a 4-0 or a 4-1 or something like that. Like I think we move on pretty easy here. The Celtics and Miami. This is kind of like my two biggest rivals as a Sixers fan. So there is bias that I don't want Boston to move on because I think they just started so goddamn hot. They were the hottest team. Them and the Nuggets all like were the absolute hottest teams in the or I guess it was the Grizzlies at one point. But whatever. I know the Celtics started like the season as just the gambling favorite to win the Eastern Conference because they started so goddamn hot, and then they did cool off. They obviously still went 57 and 25. It's a very, very good season. But yeah, I'm not sure. Like it just kind of hurts me that, you know, Tatum hasn't. I guess Tatum hasn't been playing as MVP caliber as he was in, you know, the first like 1 or 2, 3 months of the season. I guess probably the first month of the season, or maybe month and a half or so. He was playing at like an MVP level, and I think that's kind of dropped off. So I'm gonna have the Heat moving on. I think they're just a well-rounded team. You know, Spoelstra, they actually, like, you know, well coached and stuff like that. And then it's gonna be, I guess we'll go up here first. Milwaukee versus Cleveland. I think Milwaukee moves on. I just love Milwaukee. I think Giannis I think they can actually have a chance here to repeat run. Yeah, I'm not going to go too much into this. Also, this will be a great series. I just think, I just really like the Bucks from watching games and stuff like that. The Sixers versus Miami, this is like the devil series. Like, the fact that we probably will get a very good first round here, and then we're going to have to play we're either going to have to play the Hawks, the Heat, or Boston or something like that. Like here, this is just going to be 8. This is going to be so goddamn annoying. It's like all of our heated rivals just all in one and stuff like that. But, yeah, I'm going to have the Sixers moving on. This is a tough series. And then Milwaukee versus Philadelphia. I'm going to have Milwaukee moving on. As a Sixers fan, if we can make it this far, I'll be happy, but I'm not. I would prefer to win. I would prefer to at least make the finals, and if not, you know, obviously win a fucking ring. Get Joel and Harden the rings they deserve. More Embiid. I mean, Harden and Embiid, but you know, more Embiid there. I think he deserves a little bit more. So, yeah, now I can actually match these two up, and it would be, I have Golden State winning here, and then Milwaukee. So Golden State, Milwaukee. You know what? I'll have Milwaukee winning a second. I think that's a solid bet here. I'll have Milwaukee as my champion. That is tough, but that's what I'm going to pick here. So, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like, rating, subscribe. You know, leave some comments about what you guys think, where I went wrong and things like that. A lot of the playing games are pretty tight, so I could get some of those wrong and things I would already be losing teams in the brackets. But I feel like a lot of these series kind of make sense, except for, I guess, what's the most like contested actual playoff series? I don't think this one's as contested as it seems. This one should be contested. The Sacramento Golden State. I think Golden State can win, so that's why, you know, I don't think it's going to be a close series. I mean, I think it is going to be a close series. It's probably going to be like a 7 or games, or I don't even know if it's 5 or 7 games in these first rounds. But and then the the Cavs and the Knicks, I think that's going to be a banger of a series. And then hopefully this Boston-Miami series happens in the first round, just so the Sixers can get one of these teams out of the way early. But yeah, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like, rating, subscribe if you're new to the channel. Have a good day, and goodbye.